Another one of my favorite, you know, cliches that people use in everyday speech is vote with your wallet. You ever hear this one? You know, a lot of people are cringe posting about this new Nintendo product that's coming out. Ooh, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch. You know, and then oh, they made the video games more expensive or whatever. So then you hear people complain about that, and then you hear other people go, "Well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Vote with your wallet." Right? That's what people love to say. Vote with your wallet. But how many people actually do that? How many people, right, actually vote with their wallet? Because when you think about it, what does that phrase mean? Right? These phrases that I've mentioned are forms of propaganda. They are designed to make you stop thinking about a certain issue. Some would use the term a thought terminating cliche. They're designed to make you just to subvert what you were thinking into another direction and then not go back to the previous direction, right? But think about it. You've heard the term vote with your wallet. Do you genuinely vote with your wallet? Does every financial decision you make, do you actually look into the companies when you're at a convenience store and you want to buy a new drink? Do you like go on your phone that you have in your pocket at all times, you know, connected to the internet, and look up this company and see what they're doing? You know, you could do that in 30 seconds with any new product at the grocery store. Oh, that looks interesting. You whip out your cell phone that we all have, of course, because this is cell phone land, and you just look up, type this in. Okay, who owns this company? What is this a subsidiary of? Oh, they're owned by a Zionist corporation. I'm not going to buy that. How many people actually do something like that, where they sincerely make thoughtful decisions about where they spend their money? And in this, what we would consider ourselves in the internet age is the attention economy. Do you, attention is the currency of the internet more so than dollars or whatever sort of government-backed financial currency or non-government-backed financial currency, whatever. Attention economy, right? So do you vote with your wallet, and your wallet in this instance being your attention span, when it comes to what videos you watch on YouTube or other platforms? Are you voting with your wallet right now by watching this show on this space? Is this the best thing you could be doing? Now, I am biased, of course, so I'm going to tell you, yes, there is nothing better that you could be doing right now. If your child is crying in the other room, let him cry, because you got to watch this space. In fact, you know what? Just instead of having put the, you have the baby monitor radio thing. Do they? I don't know. Put up a little phone next to the radio and just pipe in this space to your crying baby. That'll probably make them feel a lot better, right? So again, vote with your wallet. Something that I think that I didn't read that chat message that appeared on screen, but I'm sure it was profound. Vote with your wallet. In my opinion, you should be taking this ideology that a lot of people have said. How many people have said that? Probably everyone who's watching this or whatever has at least heard this phrase, if not said it themselves. You should take it literally. You should take it seriously. Every financial decision you make, and on the internet, attention is a financial decision. You might disagree with that, but it is. That's just how this world works. Every decision you make should be thoughtful, right? So when you are on the internet and you're letting algorithms, AI-driven algorithms by corporate-driven algorithms decide what kind of material that you want to view, is that voting with your wallet? And if so, where are you giving this money to? And let's bring up the subject of, things like super chats, Twitch subs, hype train, woo, choo-choo-choo, right? Is that a sound financial decision? Are you correctly voting with your wallet? Because if so, every time you give a super chat to a leftist creator, what you're doing is you're giving 30% of that money to Google, a corporation that is dead set on destroying our way of life in this world. Now, I like YouTube. It's a good website. I've been using this website before Google bought it, so I've been here first. Fuck you, Google, okay? Sincerely, me. So just think about that. When you give a super chat of $10, the creator, whatever the fuck that means, some corporate garbage lingo, content creator. Yeah, I'm a content creator, guys. What the fuck does that mean? That's another, propagandistic term. We're not artists. We're not philosophers. We're not entertainers. We're content creators, right? But that's a whole separate, right? When you subscribe on Twitch, that's 50% of that money that's going to Amazon, arguably worse than Google. Is that a sound vote? If we are really voting with our wallets in every decision we make, do you really think that this is the best thing to do? Oh, but I want my message to pop up on screen. I want them to see my chats. Really? You're willing to pay a corporation that is basically declared war on humanity with the way that AI is unfolding and Amazon trying to destroy our economy? They have declared war on the human spirit, on humanity's will to live, on what we consider to be sacred. These companies have declared war on us, and you are giving them money. Now, it's one thing, right? I want to watch a YouTube video. Okay, right? Again, I mentioned the attention economy. It's one thing to just watch a YouTube video. Hey, you know what? YouTube, is there an equivalent to YouTube as it is in this moment in time? Not really, right? So it's one thing to watch a YouTube video, let's say with ad block enabled or some sort of thing like that. Hell, I might even argue that it may be a good thing to purchase something like YouTube Premium. Think about it. How many super chats have you given people, right? YouTube Premium's like what, $10, $11? I'm just saying, right? If you've given like $20, $30 in super chats, you've essentially given Google the amount of money that you would have to have spent on YouTube Premium, and you're still watching ads, which is a little bizarre. And that's another question, like, shouldn't you have installed ad block a long time ago? Think about that, right? Shouldn't you be installing ad block, right, on these garbage websites because you don't want them to make money off of this shit fuck garbage? But then also you think about, well, installing ad block hurts the creators. The creators. So that's an argument in favor of something like YouTube Premium. But on the subject of super chats and memberships and subscriptions and hype trains, you ever think it would be better to just hit someone up on Cash App so that they can get 100% of the money? You ever send someone money on Cash App, send them $5, and then you look at their phone, and then they say, I received $5. Where's the fee? Of course, that requires you to be spending money within the Cash App application economy, right? So if you're trying to bring your money back into your bank account, that's when they charge you a fee. But think about this. Shouldn't we, as lefties, shouldn't we be trying to reduce our contributions to corporations? And as creators of content, shouldn't we be trying to facilitate a method of financial gain for us to continue doing what we're doing here that both gives us more money and then also trains the audience to properly engage with other creators, right? Think about this. If you give someone $100 on a YouTube super chat, they're only seeing $70. Just think about that, right? What a waste of money. $30 you're giving to Google for nothing. So you can get your fucking message on the screen. You're paying $30 so that you can have a big, bright red message. How embarrassing and pathetic is that? But of course, are people still going to be giving super chats to people? Probably. I don't know. It's a little strange, the world we live in, right? Some would even refer to it as a cognitive dissonance. You ever hear that phrase? Cognitive dissonance. What is that? It's where you say one thing, you do another. Hell, you might even do one thing and then do another the next day that undoes the thing you did previously. Or maybe you're just walking backwards and forwards at the same time, right? That's cognitive dissonance. In other words, you don't know what the hell's going on. And I would argue that every human being to some degree has to deal with cognitive dissonance. It's unfortunately part of our brains. Right? It's part of our brains. We are fucked up motherfuckers when it comes to what we know, what we understand about the world, and then what we do. I'm drinking a cup of coffee here. Now, I did purchase this coffee under the label of fair trade. What does that mean? Fair trade? Well, ideally, that means that they're not using slave labor, right, to get their coffee beans or whatever. They're paying actual wages, and that's why you're paying more for fair trade coffee. But really, think about this. I'm drinking coffee in the, I don't want to tell you where I'm at, but needless to say, I am nowhere near the equator of this planet that we call Earth. And yet I am drinking this coffee, right? The things that have facilitated coffee global as a global commodity relies on slavery. Sure, I personally try to mitigate the harms that I cause by drinking coffee by purchasing things like fair trade coffee beans, right? That is what I do. I try to mitigate that. You could even say it's voting with my wallet. But at the end of the day, the entire coffee economy is foundational, the bedrock of being slavery. That is the entire coffee economy. Sure, you can buy fair trade coffee, but at the end of the day, buying fair trade coffee still makes coffee go up in value. People want to get coffee. People want to talk about coffee, 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 coffee. You ever get coffee from a coffee shop like Starbucks? Which, by the way, let's be honest, low IQ move. Low IQ move. Purchasing coffee from a coffee shop. Are you really that busy? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Are you really that busy? No, you're not. You're just a lazy bitch. You're a lazy, dumb fuck, and you want to give your money to slavery. That's what you're doing, right? I'm sorry, man. I'm just being honest with you. Like, making coffee at home, it takes like 2 minutes. Now, I'm a little bit of a, I like to make my coffee the fancy way, but you can just get a pot of coffee, put that motherfucker on the night before, right? Whatever, man. Maybe it'll burn a little bit, but hey, whatever. You can drink your coffee cold in the morning, whatever, right? Coffee takes like -6 seconds to actually make it. And yet, people love going to coffee shops. Very interesting, right? I don't know, man. You can maybe say that that's a little bit of cognitive dissonance, right? And again, I bring up the phrase, you are not immune to propaganda. You can say stuff like, I don't support slavery. And then you can go buy coffee from low effort coffee shops, right? That definitely source their beans from slavery. And then you don't even think about it. I thought you're anti-slavery, right? Now, again, there are coffee shops that do sell fair trade coffee, and that is fine. And I do endorse supporting small businesses to some degree if it's like a locally owned business, whatever, and that you can verify with 100% certainty that they get their beans in a fair way that doesn't support slavery. Then that's a whole separate story. But if you're going to like Dunkies or whatever every morning for your stupid fucking shit fuck coffee, like, I'm gonna be honest, you're just kind of dumb. I consider you to be like a dullard, okay? Like, you're dim-witted, in my opinion. Maybe that's mean. I don't know. That's my opinion, okay? But again, we're talking about, on this show, the importance of language, right? Some people would say that language shapes thought. The words that you know and understand are the foundation of the ideas that you could potentially integrate into your being or express, even internally or externally, right? Language is an extremely, extremely important thing. Have you ever spoken to somebody who doesn't know your language in any capacity? They just know nothing, right? There is no verbal or spoken communication at all that you can really grasp in any way. And then you have to resort to like doing these hand signs that no one understands, right? And then you got international sign language and American sign language. Maybe American sign language, someone else knows, and that's a whole different can of worms, right? Have you ever been in that environment and you ever get frustrated? Like, we just can't communicate. We don't have the same building blocks, right? It's frustrating. It's frustrating, right? So like, and the building blocks that you have are a prerequisite to the ideas that you can express, right? And the level of clarity that those ideas and expressions can have, right? So think about it when it comes to the shoveling down the throats of children of artificial intelligence applications like Chat GPT, right? Children are being inundated with the desire to use ChatGPT to pass all their quizzes, to pass all their exams. Just pop open ChatGPT and ask them everything, right? But what does that leave you with? As a child, you don't really understand this because you're a kid. You don't know what the hell is going on. It's the parent's responsibility to ensure that you can be set up. You can receive the building blocks that are necessary to have a thriving, successful life. At least ostensibly, that's what parents are for, right? Right? That's why we have parents, right? Huh? Isn't that the whole point of parenting? To set up your kids so that they can live in a happy, healthy life? Isn't that the whole point? I don't know. I don't think so in the modern age. I think the modern age I think parenting is more of a fascistic tool to destroy the souls of children, but that's a whole separate. Maybe I'll do a whole separate show on that subject.
Watch this space.